The number of COVID-19 cases continues to rise globally and right here in Guyana. Therefore, we encourage everyone to practice social distancing, wear a mask if you have to leave your homes, and wash your hands thoroughly and frequently as we strive to stop the spread of the virus. Welcome to InfoHub for Wednesday, August 12. Thanks for joining us as we continue to highlight the work of the new PPPC government, which is working to ensure that Guyana is led down a path of national development. His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, in keeping with his government's commitment of transparency, today revealed that Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Honorable Hugh Todd, has tested positive for the coronavirus. In an address to the nation, the President said immediate steps have been taken to address the situation. Here is His Excellency's full address.
Fellow Guyanese, good afternoon. I wish this afternoon to update all Guyanese on a matter that is of great importance for us nationally. As you're aware, we're dealing with a global pandemic, and I had assured all Guyanese that there'll be transparency, openness, and accountability in the way your government works for you. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, the Honorable Hugh Todd, brought to my attention that he came into contact with an individual who tested positive for COVID-19. He decided to undertake the COVID-19 tests, which came back positive. I have since advised him to inform all individuals whom he came into contact with to work with the Minister of Health to facilitate contact tracing and possible testing. Further, I have advised all Cabinet members to undergo a COVID-19 test as a precautionary measure. I have advised ministers to work remotely until they receive the results of their tests. I have made a commitment to conduct the affairs of the government transparently, and there is no greater issue that requires transparency at every level than in the way we address the COVID-19 pandemic. For this reason, I have taken this step to inform the public about this development. COVID-19 is a global pandemic that must be addressed frontally. My government has taken a holistic and comprehensive approach, which prioritizes testing, increased provision of personal protection equipment, PPEs, and interagency collaboration in response to this pandemic. I commit to doing everything necessary to ensure the safety of the Guyanese people. I want to also take this opportunity to remind all Guyanese that this pandemic has no barriers, and as such, I ask you to continue to take the necessary precautions. Ensure that you follow the guidelines of the Ministry of Health. Ensure that you wear your mask, especially when you're out in public places. Ensure, as far as possible, you adhere to social distancing. This is a time when all of us must come together, must work together to ensure that our country and all our citizens remain safe. God bless you, stay safe, and I will definitely update you as time goes by. Thank you very much.
As His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali settles into office, the courtesy calls continue. On Tuesday, the head of state was visited by the British and Indian High Commissioners, as well as the ambassador of the United Mexican States.
Since the declaration of the March 2nd, 2020 elections, His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, has been receiving immense support from the diplomatic community. On Tuesday, British High Commissioner Mr. Greg Quinn paid His Excellency a visit at the office of the President. Also, His Excellency Jose Omar Hurtado Contreras, Ambassador of the United Mexican States, showed his support to the new president. Adding to the list of diplomats, Indian High Commissioner to Guyana, His Excellency Dr. Srinivasa, likewise made a call to President Ali on Tuesday evening. The aim of the visits are to nourish existing relations with Guyana through sustainable partnerships with the new PPPC administration.
Meantime, the head of state, in keeping with a promise made in 2019, on Tuesday evening joined with the residents and members of the ISKCON Guyana Crane Temple to celebrate Krishna Jaimashtami, which is the auspicious Hindu observance of the birth of Lord Krishna.
In brief remarks, President Ali said he visited the temple in 2019 and made a commitment to return for this year's celebrations. The head of state noted that with all that has happened over the last 5 months, focus must be placed on building a country that is peaceful.
I want to say to you now, our prayers must be concentrated on building a Guyana that affords opportunity for every Guyanese. Our prayers must be concentrated on building a country that is peaceful.
President Ali also called for nation building.
This is our only path to success in this country. Our only path is if all of us can do our bit in breaking down the barriers that divide us, in opening up opportunities for all of us, because in the end, we are all one people, one nation with one destiny.
For InfoHub, Anara Khan.
More news after this short break. Welcome back. Hundreds of households in Region 8 and 9 communities have benefited from food hampers, face masks and other supplies as part of the PPPC government continued efforts to provide relief to hinterland communities affected by the COVID-19 pandemic.
The village of Kurukubaru was the first stop where the team comprising Minister of Amrinian Affairs, the Honorable Pauline Sukai, Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, the Honorable Nigel Darmlal, along with CDC's Director General, Lieutenant Colonel Custer Craig, distributed 300 hampers to be shared between that village, Itabak and Kanapang. Minister Sukai explained that the aim is to ensure residents in border villages within the regions have adequate food supplies so as to limit their movement, thereby lowering the risk of transmitting COVID-19.
Collaboratively, what we have done is that because the border towns or the border villages are affected, we would like to ensure that the villagers have minimum supplies of foodstuff so that we'll avoid them from leaving their home. We are going to work together with the villages, the leaders, to ensure that we flatten the curve of the COVID pandemic which has been affecting Guyana.
The team then traveled across to Paramakatoy where another 300 hampers were delivered. That community received 150 hampers and Tusaning and Bamboo Creek 75 each. Paramakatoy, the largest populated village in the North Pacaraima, with over 3,000 residents, has not recorded a single case of the virus, even as neighboring Brazil has been declared the second most infected country in the world. Minister Darmalal commended that village for implementing strict measures to monitor the virus and committed to working with the village to maintain this status.
We have to make sure that through the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development, we will work with the Ministry of Health to make sure that the health facilities in Paramakatoy have adequate drugs and other medical supplies to fight COVID and to fight other things. Because whilst we are working on COVID, people are also sick with other illnesses.
The residents were also thankful to the government for their swift action in providing relief to them.
I appreciate whatever comes under this new administration. Thanks a lot.
We are thankful for the aid that we've gotten, and I'm sure that the people who are affected with the COVID-19 will benefit.
The activity was a directive from the President, His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, who met with his cabinet members on Friday last and instructed Prime Minister to work with the CDC to provide aid to those residents, especially in the border villages. Meanwhile, the team also donated 520 hampers and over 2,000 face masks to Region 9 families who are also affected by the pandemic. Speaking to the indigenous population at Waweta village, Minister Sukai also highlighted the work the government is currently conducting to help curtail the spread of the coronavirus.
The new government is in transition. We're taking over, we're establishing what we're taking over in this couple days. And in doing so, we cannot put aside emergencies or issues that need to be addressed now. So we have enjoined with the CDC under the guidance of the new Prime Minister, Mr. Mark Phillips, Honorable Mark Phillips, in ensuring that His Excellency Irfan Ali, our president, our new president, who has tasked all of us with ensuring that we play our part in reducing and containing and supporting this fight against the COVID-19 pandemic.
Minister Darnell also reminded the villagers to follow all health protocols.
We really have to be careful in terms of our movement. We have to be careful in terms of our contact. We have to be careful in terms of our relationships. That is why we have, when we met with the CDC under the direction of His Excellency the President and supervised by the Honorable Prime Minister, we were able to get these supplies to you. And we did not just limit it to the families in Waweta alone. And that is why we provided to some other very vulnerable people in the other villages. This is for the families that are in quarantine because they can't go out to farm, they can't go out to produce, they can't go out to fish. So we have to provide support to them.
Minister Darmal noted too that the new PPPC government has received other supplies to assist in curbing the spread of COVID-19.
From the level of the government, since President Ali took office, he has been able to source more than 40,000 test kits. He has been able to source hundreds of millions of dollars worth of equipment. It is important that we take all precautions at all times. So we hope that whatever this intervention that we have provided, it is going to be a start towards the control and eradication of COVID-19 in the North Rupununi.
Grace Albert, a resident of Waweta village for 10 years, expressed her appreciation for the government's support.
The donation from the CDC and the government of Guyana, I must say that not from my family alone, but the other families, on behalf of the affected families and more so other vulnerable groups, I must say how thankful we are, because with this COVID situation in our families and more so in our community, we are not able to go to work and even to go out to the shops to buy our groceries and other stuff for home. So I must say how we appreciate and how good it is for us to have support from the government and the CDC level.
The Pan American Health Organization, World Health Organization, has once again contributed to Guyana's COVID-19 response with the donation of testing kits and personal protective equipment, among other essential items for healthcare workers and patients.
The items donated include examination stethoscopes, oxygen concentrators, face masks, face shields, goggles, and gowns for frontline workers in the health sector. The items were received at an opportune time, according to Minister of Health, Honorable Dr. Frank Anthony.
We are extremely grateful for this donation from PAHO. But also in the donation, as Dr. Adikro explained, it is not just PPEs. It is also the types of equipment that we need to work with our patients. Because if we don't have the right type of equipment, then we are putting patients' safety at risk.
PAHO WHO representative Dr. William Adukro revealed that another donation is expected to be made shortly.
These are 4 different donations that have come in. But that said, I just want to also put in another point that next week we are going to receive some more items, one of which I am very proud. Well, I'm proud of all of them, but one is the assisted breathing device, the ventilators, because it's my understanding that GPAC is short of the ventilators, the ones that work.
Meanwhile, Guyana is expected to receive a donation of 30,000 testing kits to facilitate countrywide mass testing. For InfoHub, Delicia Haynes.
Remember to do your part to ensure you do not put yourself at risk during this time. If you have a cough, fever, and difficulty breathing, seek medical care early, but call the hotline first. That's all for today. Connect with us on all our social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and visit our website, dpi.gov.gy, as we bring you the latest and important news on what the government is doing to ensure the continued development of our country. Your Bridge reports are up next. Goodbye.